Former President Donald Trump has just been indicted with criminal charges by a Manhattan grand jury. The indictment describing the charges against Trump is currently sealed and expected to be released any day now. But most agree that the charges stem from the payments that were made by Trump's then attorney, Michael Cohen, back during his 2016 campaign for presidency to the adult film star Stormy Daniels to keep her quiet about an alleged affair between Trump and Miss Daniels. This marks the first time in U.S. history that a current or former president has faced criminal charges. In this video, I'll answer all of your burning legal questions about this case, so make sure to watch until the very end. Before we dive into the video, a quick disclaimer, this video is not legal advice. Now, with that out of the way, let's get into the news. According to CNN, the charges being brought against Trump will be announced any day now in the coming days. So what are the likely charges in the indictment against Trump? Well, let's take a look at the specific New York criminal statutes that Trump may be charged with. So here we have the New York Penal Code section 175.05, falsifying business records in the second degree. It states that a person is guilty of this crime if, with intent to defraud, he, number one, makes or causes a false entry in the business records of an enterprise. So what are the relevant allegations that prosecutors might try to prove up in order to prove this crime? Well, first, they'll try to show that during the 2016 campaign, Trump's lawyer, Michael Cohen, paid $130,000 in hush money to the adult film star Stormy Daniels to cover up an affair between Trump and her that could have hurt his presidential campaign. Then prosecutors will likely try to show that while he was sitting as president in the White House, Trump allegedly reimbursed Cohen for the $130,000 in hush money payment through a series of monthly payments that were recorded in Trump's business records falsely as legal expenses and a retainer for legal fees. To do this, they would certainly need Michael Cohen to get up onto the stand and testify under oath that he performed no legal services during the months that he was paid for these legal expenses. But if you ask me, a non-disclosure agreement is a legal contract, and it's a legal expense in having to pay somebody under a contract in order to remain silent under a non-disclosure agreement. So I really don't even think that Trump mischaracterized the nature of the reimbursement that he paid to Michael Cohen by calling it a legal expense, because it was a payment that he was reimbursing Cohen under a non-disclosure agreement. So I'm not sure that the prosecutors can even prove this first charge. If they do, however, it is a Class A misdemeanor, which is effectively a slap on the wrist. To elevate the crime of falsifying business records to a felony charge, let's see what is required under the New York Penal Code, specifically section 175.10. So here we have the felony version of falsifying business records. It's in the first degree, as you can see here. It states that a person is guilty of falsifying business records in the first degree when he commits a crime of falsifying business records in the second degree, which we just covered, and when his intent to defraud includes an intent to commit another crime or to aid or conceal the commission thereof. Here, prosecutors may try to show that Trump mischaracterized the reimbursement payments to his lawyer, Michael Cohen, as legal expenses and retainer funds to disguise an illegal campaign donation or contribution that violated the U.S. election law. That would be the second crime that Trump is trying to cover up by recording these payments, these transactions, in a misleading way in his business records. Under this theory, prosecutors would have to convince the judge and the jury that the hush money that Cohen paid to Stormy Daniels was a campaign contribution. To me, that all seems like a stretch. This is certainly a novel legal theory, and the burden of proof on the prosecutor is going to be beyond a reasonable doubt. And so I can imagine a number of scenarios where Trump could create reasonable doubt in a jury's mind as to whether or not he was trying to mislead anybody or defraud anybody, or even intended to mischaracterize the nature of the payments. Now, in order to create reasonable doubt, all Trump would have to do is testify to something like, you know what? I admit that I used a little bit of creative language in describing these, but I did so to protect my marriage. I did not want these entries to disrupt my marriage. I didn't want her to find out about my affair. That would prevent the prosecutors from being able to show that he was intending to commit some election fraud crimes. If you like this video and you don't want to miss any of my updates on this topic, make sure to hit that subscribe button below and turn the bell notification icon on. And of course, as always, thank you for watching.